It's fluid! Still fluid! Hello? Is there anybody at home? Angels and ministers. I suppose any sign of life is a mercy. Rouse yourself. It's me, Clerval. Remember me? Oh. What do you keep in this chemist's collection? Down the stairs. Pleasant riverside quarters you have here. Sweating steps, gray slime. Suicide corner, my guide informed me.
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here? Adding to the reputation of the district? Are you well enough to stand, or do you need another whiff of reviver?
How did you find me?
You were snugly hidden.
Not as well as I'd hoped.
Obviously you weren't at home in the fashionable quarters of town. Otherwise the first mention of your name would have disgorged you. So, you must have been buried where your name hadn't reached. I merely had to describe you in half a dozen hellholes before this apprentice cutthroat led me to this moldering hole. Why did you do it?
An experiment.
Dangerous.
Successful.
If it had failed, self-murder is a crime, you know.
I keep a journal. Someday the work would have been carried on.
I see.
Do you?
Rather, I realize further questioning to be pointless. Are you strong enough to stand? No. Try this. It was a pity to waste it on you while you were unconscious.
Oh, yeah. I should have recovered within an hour. A living body quickly adjusts the blood supply.
Your help. I can give you 5 more minutes in which to recover. In the meantime, we must do something about this arm. It would frighten the ladies into fits. You have water in this place, I suppose, apart from the stuff trickling down the walls?
I set a bowl by the bench.
Capital. While I play nurse, you invent a tale to explain yourself. Ye gods, did you use a razor or a hatchet? Yesterday you left your room without morning maid or valet.
Yesterday?
Genius takes no account of time. You left your room without money, change of clothes. You just vanished like a bubble. Pop. If I hadn't agreed to take charge, the town crier would have been called.
I was missed.
Today's Elizabeth's birthday.
Elizabeth, today. Of course.
Naturally, a man on the threshold of eternity doesn't consider birthdays.
I'm a fool. I should have. But I had the answer and I couldn't pause. Not even for food or sleep. I just couldn't pause.
Obviously. But it was an ill-timed disappearance. On her birthday, a girl expects something from her fiancé. Some small token, a kind word or two, even a bouquet. But from you, nothing. Disconcerting. The celebration is in progress, trusting my powers of detection to produce the guest of honor. Well, your story?
You won't believe me.
I don't ask for credibility, merely some explanation.
I work here.
Work? Isn't your income enough, or have deserving causes eaten your entire estate?
Research. I continued after I was forced to leave the university.
The eternal scholar? You shouldn't use that arm again for another day or two.
I bought this house 2 years ago. I've worked here since.
Alone. Who has been dining with us then? Who has been courting Elizabeth? Who has been the mainstay of half a dozen philanthropic committees? You must have a double.
Whatever claims society has made on my days, my nights are still my own. You do have irritating eyebrows, Clerval. Are they permanently raised?
A hidden laboratory. A double life. Secret research by the light of a guttering candle. I'm baffled. What research, for instance?
The blood on my arm was dry. Now examine that.
More blood?
Taken at the same time as the smear on my arm. But still fluid, uncongealed, still living.
Remarkable! If there is ever a market for bottled blood, you'll double your fortune.
That is why I hide like a recluse.
Afraid of losing a fortune?
Afraid of the too easy laugh.
I'm sorry.
I'm not offended. Tonight, I crossed the threshold. The experiment succeeded. Tomorrow I can begin the last experiment. And when that begins, I shall...
Steady, steady. You do have a code here. Somewhere.
Clerval,
Yes?
do you remember my father?
Slightly.
Only slightly. He died when I was 16. They hail him as a philanthropist, too. He devoted his time and fortune to the poor and wretched. The town would have erected a statue to his memory, but he dismissed the idea. He said that his only monument would be to live in the hearts of his fellow men. Do you remember him slightly?
It was 10 years ago.
In 2 generations, he will be completely forgotten.
Moral. Make sure of your statue early. Your coat? I'll help.
I am in full possession of my faculties now. My father was right. A man's only guarantee of immortality is the memory he leaves behind. A block of stone never kept a memory fresh. Only deeds can do that. Do you remember Alexander, Caesar? I will be remembered too.
How many men will you slaughter to achieve your immortality?
None.
It can't be done. History only remembers the villains. The benefactors are ignored.
I will be remembered as long as there are men in the world. Believe me, Clerval, in centuries to come, my name will be whispered with awe.
Victor, the guests are waiting. Elizabeth, too.
My name will be my monument.
Come along.
Frankenstein.
Miss Elizabeth? Justine, he's here with Monsieur Clerval.
Thank you. Have I been missed in the music room?
It wouldn't be right to say no, but Master William's been reciting Monsieur Clerval's poetry, all owls and graves and goings-on at midnight. The company took it funnier than a raree show.
Isn't it past his bedtime?
He's to be allowed up till after supper tonight. I'll see that he doesn't overtire.
Death's heads and rattling bones are for the broad daylight. He mustn't overtire.
I look after him, miss, like my own.
I know. Elizabeth, my dear, nothing fantastic and terrible, I hope. The room was hot, but I have recovered, thank you. Frankenstein, what happened to your fiancé? Spirited away like a thing on Halloween night. He is here. He is in the house now. How disappointing. I mean, what an ordinary ending to an improbable adventure.
Supper will be ready directly now.
Thank you, Justine. Really, sermons are impossible. Justine, she announced supper though my mind was on nothing but food. Resuming creature, I heard she was rescued by dear bear Frankenstein from the gutter and a faint. We are fond of Justine. She has been with us for 5 years. You all have such generous natures. 5 years. It does give credibility to all the rumors. I never listen to scandal, unless I intend to spread it further. Nor I. The child is 5 years old, too. Strange. No doubt gossip makes it stranger. Victor's generosity. Please continue. The Baron's philanthropy intrigues me.
I am an item of the Baron's philanthropy.
My dear Elizabeth,
I never knew my parents. I was scarcely out of the cradle when Victor's father rescued me. Everything I have, everything I am, I owe to Victor and his father. If I live here in the Clerval house, it is only because gossip forbids me to share his roof until we are married.
but my dear, you are to marry him.
Would it have silenced the scandal mongers if Victor had married Justine? I am sure supper is quite ready now, Madame Cooper.
Elizabeth,
Victor!
many happy returns, my dear. Just but a scratch. No duels or swashbuckling. Just a jolt in the coach.
Where were you?
Hurrying back to you. Good evening.
Please don't restrain your emotions on my account. I shan't breathe a syllable. Company. What a provoking world it is for lovers.
This is a fine quartet of hosts. Have we all deserted our guests?
I had an absurd premonition, but it was merely an overheated fancy. Victor is here.
Overheated. You must pardon her father here. He was casting a graveyard chill over the entire music room.
Oh, one of the penalties of taking office as a magistrate. You carry the conscience of the entire city. But take no notice. Away and enjoy yourselves.
And what is the incubus that weighs down my parent? A mere matter of body snatching.
It's no subject for joking.
Body snatching?
I just received word that young Lavin's coffin was broken into a few hours after the funeral. A common thief I can understand, but a ghoul, a despoiler of
A
graves.
frugal-minded fellow who sees no harm in helping himself to something you have finished with. Once I'm dead, I shan't give a button what happens to my remains. But of course, I prefer a more romantic end. But if I can be of help to the dissecting slab, let the doctors carve away.
These grave robbers. Who are they?
We have our suspicions, but nothing can be proved, and responsible men balk us.
Lecturers at the medical school.
Oh, let one of those creatures come before me. He'll learn what the law is.
The penalties are heavy.
For trading in human flesh?
Ugh.
Oh, I apologize, ma'am. The pup argues and I ramble on. Let me take you into dinner.
I believe I've lost my appetite.
Nonsense. Wait till you've sampled our pâté. Capital pâté. You'll come too, Frankenstein.
With pleasure.
You're still faint. Your arm.
Perfectly well.
You're pale. Are you coming, Clerval?
Naturally. Frankenstein.
Yes?
I'm an indifferent poet, I know. But any poet has an eye for the fantastic.
What have you seen?
You are pale. Do you share my father's concern for the resurrection men?
I was wondering, how far were the lecturers justified? If the wretches who supply their material are caught, what then?
A term of imprisonment, perhaps a whipping. Are the lecturers justified?
I still have to make up my mind.
Be careful.
What do you mean?
Just be careful how you make up your mind. By the way, I have a nodding acquaintance at the medical school who, for the price of a bottle, may tell you a tale or so. No more than the police know, of course. But afterwards, you are used to thinking for yourself.
You must keep your whimsies within bounds, Clerval. Victor is hardly likely to open the grave.
You should know what Frankenstein is capable of, my dear friend. Did someone mention supper?
Yes, come along.
I'd like to know what you are capable of. My dear friend, I'd like to know.
Date, September 21st, 1869. Time. Time. Time.
Sees shades on shades, with deeper tint in pen, till chill and damp the moonless night descend. Till chill and damp the moonless night descend. I wrote no more. That is the end.
Oh, Clerval,
I might have contrived a further 20 verse, but inspiration expired with the heroine.
it was charming.
A night owl screams o'er its victim's corpse. You didn't hear a word of it. You may as well confess I forgive you in advance.
He wrote half a page a week ago.
If you wanted a man with a literary turn of mind, you should have promised yourself to me instead of Victor. It's to be published, you know, on real paper with genuine ink and bound in guaranteed leather. The collected poems of Henry Clerval. They'd have been dedicated to Frankenstein, only in some strange way he thinks that would place him in my debt. He can't stand to be indebted to anyone. The balance must be all the other way. It's sort of a spiritual usury. I'm sorry. You love him, don't you?
I'm sure of nothing any longer. Unless I hang upon his arm, he's not even sure that I am near.
Business.
And each time, he returns haggard, wild-eyed, and further away from me than ever. What business does that, Clerval? Something is driving him to despair. You've seen it too. I'm afraid.
For him?
A sheltered life brings its own problems. I know so little of the world outside.
Nonsense. You're as up to date as I am.
There's no horror like the unknown.
He's doing nothing that could possibly touch you. Harmless bees buzzing in his bonnet.
You promise that?
Word of honor.
Then you do know what he is doing.
Well, in a remote, uncomprehending fashion.
And where he is?
Paris, Rome, Berlin.
He's not in Rome, Paris, or Berlin.
Oh, if you know better than I do,
Clerval!
then I make no more suggestions.
Go to him.
He may be at the end of the earth.
For my sake.
Feminine wiles from you, Elizabeth. I'm disappointed. I thought you were a more rational creature.
All the more reason to believe me when I tell you that I feel death in the air. We grew up together. We shared our secrets. When he was happy, I was happy. When he despaired, I felt the end of the world was near. Either bring him to me, Clerval, or take me to him.
You're a confounded nuisance, Elizabeth. But I'll do it. I'll end with thanks from neither of you, but I'll do it.
Oh, bless you.
I'm fond of you too, Elizabeth. In a brotherly way. But don't expect miracles.
Justine! Justine! My cloak!
Experiment begun September 21st, 1869. Failed. I warn you, I'm armed. One false step and I'll fire. Raise your arms and come into the light.
Aren't we rather old to be playing soldiers?
Clerval!
Don't shoot, I surrender.
What are you doing here?
Manners, my dear fellow. The correct inquiry is, how do you do? By the way, how do you do? When was the last time you slept, for instance?
Last night, the night before? Since when have you been so interested in my health?
Since you lost interest in it yourself. Elizabeth is worried too. You do remember Elizabeth.
Days pass when I hardly remember my own name. Nothing exists but the work in front of me.
I understood that 6 months ago the work was nearly completed.
6 months ago? Since then, the end has been in sight. Always in sight and always just beyond my reach.
May one who has been burning with curiosity for 6 months ask what this work may be?
No,
I apologize.
I sound like a bore. One forgets social graces among these surroundings. I meant I couldn't ask anyone to share the risk until...
What a witch's kitchen. Incidentally, you should be dining with us this evening. Don't delay me by quibbling. I don't relish the thought of lingering here. Where do you bury the corpses?
Where do I...
My sense of humor. The dead body outside, covered by a sheet.
You didn't touch it?
No. It didn't strike my fancy. Looked for all the world like an undertaker's customer. Oh, by the way, I stumbled over a piece of apparatus on my way up the stairs. It must have been what startled you.
What apparatus?
Would you object if I didn't leave immediately?
You must.
A raid just penetrated this block.
Go at once. Never think of this place again.
You are in danger, my dear fellow, and you aren't aware how much.
Everything I have done has been calculated. The risk as carefully as the blood flow.
Of?
Leave me.
I'm trying to help you.
I have never asked for
And
anything.
it's time you did.
As carefully as the blood flow of a rat.
Rat?
A rat.
Oh, thank heavens for that. It's a small step from stealing a corpse to creating one. You know, our lives hang by such slender threads. A grain of sand, poison, a twist of rope, and we're suddenly no more than subjects for the dissecting slab.
What are you trying to make me admit?
It was a new spade. You've only recently taken to digging for your own specimens.
If I allowed you one scrap of evidence, it would make you an accessory. Will you go before it's too late?
You should take a constitutional more often. Get out, hear the news. But who am I to blame you? When I hear the news, it means nothing to me. By the way, a resurrection man was arrested about a month ago. He's to be executed next week.
Wouldn't be guillotined.
Much of his evidence, there was no proof.
You know police procedure. That isn't a capital crime.
He wouldn't give details of his client, even when the police tried to persuade him. He had a very unexpected sense of loyalty. Very unexpected in such a low time. He mustn't die a quick death. One slice of the blade and beneath. He was a murderer several times over. He confessed eventually to that.
A murderer?
As I said, a very small step. Only one of his victims was found. The last. The other disappeared. Oh, I wish Elizabeth hadn't made me come here this evening.
They were murdered. I'm to blame.
Only for your ignorance. The rest was his responsibility.
No, my responsibility. All mine. I wouldn't have it otherwise. The only question, was it justified? It must be justified, it must. Now more than ever. And if only for their sakes. If they died for nothing, Clerval, the work must be completed.
When does it all start?
I was ready 6 months ago. But there have been delays. And each delay brings more delay. You see, a hot summer and an oppressive autumn. Leaves wither and apples rot where they fall. There's only one thing needful, and they must have it soon, before the rest begins to decompose again.
That one thing needful.
A brain.
Why should that delay you? Half of my friends manage without.
He must have a mind to match his body. Strong and resourceful.
Most men aren't willing to depart with their brains, even in the interest of science. And those who do,
The ones who do?
it happens now and again.
Such men exist? Where?
Take your resurrection friend, for instance. By this time next week, he will...
How does one gain admittance to the prison?
It is complete. The execution unnerved me. I've never seen a man die so violently before.
Will you stay to the end?
Oh, I must. I feel cheated when I wake in the middle of a nightmare. My hair stands on end, but I must know what was lurking in the corners. When does the last experiment begin?
Tonight.
So soon?
Have you seen the clouds?
Oh, they don't inspire me.
The high clouds fly toward us, the low clouds fly from us. Crosswinds. Within the hour, we shall be in the center of the storm.
Is that vital?
Yes, the atmosphere is charged with electricity. I shall direct it to the mass lying there. Unless I have pursued a mirage, I shall have my final proof. Agrippa, Paracelsus, Cornelius, Albertus Magnus. They all died searching for the elixir of life. And it was before them the whole time, flaming in the sky.
An oak doesn't welcome a thunderbolt.
There are poisons here. Arsenic, strychnine, cyanide. Any one of them could strike you dead. But a physician knows how to handle it. I have no intention of exposing my handiwork to an uncontrolled blast, but when it strikes, I shall know how to direct it.
When it strikes,
There is a conducting apparatus on the roof. You can handle that. It needs nothing but brute strength.
so right for me, but you.
Coordinate reactions of the body. Stimulate breathing and heartbeats so the living machinery works for itself.
And then,
We hope.
it's not too late, even now. Too late? To turn back. Give that thing a decent burial, lock the doors, and leave the house to the storm.
I have nursed this dream since I was a child. Turn back now. There. Did you hear that?
Here?
Thunder in the mountains. The storm is blowing this way. Quickly. There's no time to lose. There's a connecting plate at the head of the table and another at the foot. The force flows between the two and is discharged through another rod. There. Did you hear that?
Wind around the rooftops. A door banging above.
No. A drum roll among the peaks. All the might of nature heralding a new life.
A door.
A door?
Banging above.
But that's impossible. I could swear I locked the door.
Victor, I have been following Clerval. I have been spying. Now I have shame to add to my other emotions. Am I not invited in? Am I so unwelcome?
You should never have come here.
Elizabeth, these are no quarters for you. Positively dangerous. How far did you walk unattended?
I passed other women on the street. They were unattended.
This is neither the time nor the place to explain them. Come with me, I'll take you home.
No, Clerval. I summoned up all my courage in coming. I may never summon up so much again.
The storm will break at any minute.
And there is no shelter for me here.
My dear Elizabeth,
Leave us.
here together?
As you said, this is neither the time nor the place. But we are together, here and now. Leave us.
Frankenstein.
Be within call.
Be gentle with each other.
This is Rome, Paris, Berlin.
I deceived you.
No, I didn't believe you. But I didn't expect this either. I'm confused.
Would you rather have found me opium drugged among the...
I should understand your reasons then. All I know now is that you never trusted me.
Did you trust me?
This is a cold moment. Suddenly, we are strangers.
Oh,
You wish I were gone.
I...
Your voice says so. Your eyes say so. Can your words contradict them?
If I could explain.
Is that impossible?
Yes.
Because I am a stranger.
Because you are a woman.
Never let that be your excuse. A woman is neither angel nor devil. She is a human being. I was born with a heart and a brain. I can feel and understand. There are lines in the face that I never saw before.
I grow older.
And this house is so full of shadows.
Your place is in the light.
My place is with you.
Why did you come here?
To help you.
Oh, my dear Elizabeth.
A dry laugh. Is that all my help is worth? Your hands are trembling. What are you hiding from me?
Nothing.
You make me feel useless and foolish.
You are being a little absurd, my dear.
Next year we are to be married. Will our lives together be no more than this?
This?
Hands touching in the half-light. Thoughts hidden. Why did you agree to marry me?
Because I love you.
Love embraces more than you imagine. What does it mean to you?
I cherish you. Care for you. Keep you from harm.
You could do as much for a caged linnet. What will there be for me to do?
You will love me in return.
Singing for you after supper? Can't you understand? I want to share your life.
So you shall. To the last crust.
To the last blow and heartache too.
If you insist.
Why did you never mention this place?
Because for you it could never exist.
It does exist. I can stand between its slimy walls. I can hear the river slithering by. I can feel the shapeless thing under this cover.
Don't touch that!
Ah! It was...
I didn't hurt you.
Only a little. I should have been prepared. Can a promise bind strangers, Victor? I must release you from yours. Don't be distressed. You'll find the woods full of linnets!
Elizabeth! Elizabeth! Elizabeth!
What did you do to Elizabeth? An avenging angel rushed past me on the stairwell.
Gone?
Out of the house, slamming the door to that crack of doom.
Gone.
Don't you intend to follow her?
We must stay. This is the moment, Clerval.
Oh, why must I be pulled in two directions at once?
A chance passes with every flash of lightning.
It's heavy.
The faster you turn, the lighter it becomes.
It hums.
It throbs. It pounds. The force is rushing through.
My hands itch and tingle.
Sparks leaping between the points. The air is vibrating with light. The sluggish blood begins to flow. The cold clay warms.
Struck! Oh no!
Look!
The moment of revelation?
Dead.
The controls are dead.
That last blast, what damage?
Oh, fool that I was. I thought I could master any force.
Serious?
I should have tested and retested. To fail
The
now.
cannonade is passing.
At the last stroke, to fail.
Who says we failed? The patient?
Clerval. Clerval. Hurt?
My arm.
The shock.
Give me a minute. I suppose the colored lights and church bells are only my imagination.
Your arm?
You need brandy, but we lack the refinements of civilization here. Life is returning. Although I wish it weren't. It feels as though an army of witches is sticking pins into me. There. I can move my fingers now.
You frightened me.
I misunderstood you. I thought you explained that the charge would be drained.
It should have been.
The answer?
I was about to couple this rod when Elizabeth kicked. Elizabeth! I failed before I began.
Listen. Here comes the rain.
I failed!
Gentle, soothing rain. Like tears.
I deserve every scornful laugh I ever heard.
We're only human.
What excuse is that?
Come away with me. One doesn't harbor on the battlefield. There are too many ghosts. Besides, you have forgotten what warm food and clean sheets are like. Once you've rested, you'll be able to forgive yourself.
No. No, I must stay, Clerval.
Why?
The journal must be completed.
Don't you trust your memory?
I trusted it tonight. I need to be alone, Clerval.
With it, the unborn?
He'll live yet.
I suppose it would be useless to argue, wouldn't it? But Elizabeth needs one of us. I shall tell her you are following directly after me. But before I leave, you must promise that there will be no more experiments tonight.
I promise.
Don't be too long.
Experiment begun October 12th, 1869. Time. Time 9:45.
Clerval?
No. No. No.
Victor!
Elizabeth!
You seemed asleep when I left you.
I thought I saw a nightmare. Only a nightmare.
Even the doctor was afraid for you.
The doctor?
You have been very sick.
Nonsense. A slight weakness.
You are still very sick.
My head throbs a little. Nothing that rest won't cure.
The doctor...
If the doctor said differently, the doctor is a fool.
I nursed you.
Poor Elizabeth. Did I bark?
It's usual.
For me?
When people cannot understand each other, they shout.
How cold, starched, and inefficient you've become. Have I offended you very deeply?
Not offended. The word is not offended. Don't try to think. Rest.
My dear, I'm not dying. I may be in no condition for prize fighting, but I'm master of my own body.
Close your eyes.
How did I come to be here? I was...
Hush now.
The twinge of an old wound. We quarreled. The storm. The experiment. The failure.
You were found senseless on the open street. The rain brought on the fever.
And Clerval?
He led a search for you.
No. After Clerval.
Victor!
Where is Clerval?
In the house?
Clerval! Clerval!
Clerval!
damn.
Must you be so savage with yourself?
Me? Savage? Time and space are the enemies.
You are your own worst enemy.
Space holds us prisoner while time murders us. Annihilate time and space and men will be gods. Ah, there's a death's head chattering in my skull.
Awake so soon?
Clerval! Did you go back?
Elizabeth, your patient is fretful. Remember the doctor's orders? Rest and quiet?
Clerval!
Go back where?
To the house.
I thought it best.
What did you find?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I didn't inspect the cellars too closely.
Everything was as you last saw it?
Like I said, the cellars, I didn't check them. But I just figured you'd rather leave them to their own secrets.
Secrets?
Elizabeth, my dear, would you consider me an ogre if I asked you to leave me with Frankenstein?
He must rest.
He shall, as soon as I have put his mind at ease. But I can't do that in public.
My dream was once compounded of fear and hope. Once it is broken, there will be nothing to fear. And nothing to hope for.
Elizabeth,
I trust you.
your patients shall return docile to your ministrations.
Victor,
Here, Elizabeth, the man you always knew. A lesser man than I thought you knew.
Do you like the doll? Or young William? He was promised a good something if he would be quiet while you're resting. He deserves it, though. You would never have realized there was even a child in the house. I locked and bolted the ruins before I surrendered it to the rats. It wouldn't have left to leave that house open to night prowlers. I take it you buried the remains in the cellar?
The remains?
Of the unsuccessful experiment.
That was untouched. I couldn't bring myself to touch it. I only dreamed that it...
You accomplished more in your delirium than you imagined. The laboratory was empty. And it couldn't hardly have walked.
It put out its arms.
The laboratory was empty. The experiment failed. Remember, I was there.
Oh, justified. Fool that I was to doubt for a second. I was justified.
If that thing is alive, then it is loose. You don't think it could roam around the town unnoticed?
You locked the house.
I checked the bedrooms.
But not the cellars.
Why the cellars?
Eyes that are used to the darkness avoid the light.
Poor devil, if it were.
Why?
Locked amongst the rats without food or water?
How long?
Since you were taken ill.
How many hours?
How many days? Over a week.
A week? I want bread. Immediately. Ow! Devil, take this body of mine. Every drop of strength is drained out of it.
Sir?
Meat and wine. If he should have died, let me stand, Clerval.
You're in no condition.
I'm in no condition to do anything but get to that house. On my hands and knees if I must. A week.
You said it put its arms out.
Did I? Then it must have done.
The fear of that thing unhinged you. Dare you face it again?
My creation? Dare I not face it again?
Oh, at least listen to reason.
Reason? Reason is a liar. In future, only believe me when I talk of dreams. Reason tells me that I am feeble. In my heart, I am there already. Are you with me? Then make way.
Not so fast.
You saw him.
I saw it, the creature. That thing belongs in an old wives' tale. Winter chimneys, dark nights.
I gave him life.
Your eyes are feverish. There's a strange light burning in them.
It's the light of victory. Pride.
Pride? That is a killing disease.
I have dreamed dreams and seen visions. What's more, I gave them life. You saw. You are convinced.
I am convinced of that creature's strengths. Its other virtues are yet to be proved. If you hadn't stopped it, that thing would have torn me to pieces.
He'd been locked up, starving for days.
We all must learn self-control. You see what it did to the laboratory? That scrap of iron over there used to be apparatus.
You despise his strength.
Despise it? I'm afraid of it.
There is nothing lacking that makes a man.
Where did you slip in the soul? You gave it a heart. Can it hold understanding? Or is it a mere machine for pumping blood? What was that?
That?
Scuffling in the shadows.
I don't know. A rat? The river? Who knows? He is asleep.
It eats. It drinks. It sleeps.
A man.
2 arms, 2 legs, a head, a man.
Idiot. Why did you bring that with you?
If I recall, you didn't let me part with it before we left the house. I'm glad I brought it, though. Reassuring. Down here, we hardly belong to the world at all.
He drank enough to put him to sleep for hours.
What do you plan on doing with him?
Use him.
How?
To convince the fools in authority that I was right. They tried to dismiss me as a harmless lunatic.
Now they'll dismiss you as a dangerous lunatic.
I only ask them to believe what they see.
They will hang another label on you, the man who makes monsters.
Because the thing is less than beautiful.
Oh, the face is forgivable, but it has one impossible trait.
I'm still listening.
A newborn's mind in a fully developed body.
So?
The result is a wild beast.
Prove it.
How much more damage must it do before you are convinced? You said that a failure could be destroyed.
Are you asking me to destroy
For
it?
your own safety.
But he's alive.
So
Alive.
are sharks, adders, and tarantulas.
A living human being.
An accident, a freak.
And I should.
Kill it!
I have created life. I will not destroy it.
You have suspended the laws of nature, Frankenstein. I can only tell you what I feel. I can't argue. Destroy that thing before it destroys you.
Prejudice. Blind prejudice. I'm disappointed in you, Clerval. I thought you could be more reasonable. You give me one good reason why that thing should be destroyed, and I'll do as you insist. Bury my failure under the flagstone.
Don't move. Send it away. Over there.
See? He understands.
Just fed it. The response looks like gratitude. Now come away.
Are you afraid of putting your theories to the test?
I am afraid, confound it all. Not for my theories, for my neck.
That is absurd. Look, I can protect you. Come. This is my friend. Anything that harms him harms me.
Bravo! I withdraw one charge. It feels human emotions. It's jealous. You must be careful how you show affection, Frankenstein. It could prove fatal.
That is absurd.
Is it? Take the doll.
Why?
I'm not afraid of putting my theories to the test. Make believe it's precious to you. Give it to the monster. If it's gentle towards it, it may know what gentleness is.
Is this another joke?
Don't you want to risk a proof? I'm staring at it. What goes on behind those dead eyes? What is more, it can sense my fear. This house is full of clocks. Great-grandfather clocks. Small clocks. Tiny tinkling toys. Yet they all say the same thing. It's late. The time will come when it's too late. Your indecision torments you.
My doubts frighten me. What am I? Turncoat? Traitor? Judas? If only I could be sure.
I am involved in this too. Don't you think it hurts me to see you hurt?
I don't ask for sympathy.
That thing can bend iron bars. How long do you think the bolts on the cellar door will last?
The laboratory's a ruin. It'll take months to rebuild. I was ready for achievement now. This blow
It is only to your pride.
He is all I have left.
If that creature is seen, the attempt will never be made again.
Meaning?
The argument I dare hardly use. Once the common man realizes you may turn loose monsters on him.
I do not make monsters.
Uglies, then.
I do not
Anything beyond comprehension.
make monsters. He is not a monster.
The common man believes what he sees.
I'm working for the common good.
You won't be believed. Your experiment will only be driven further underground.
I've worked in secret before.
If you are discovered, you will be sent to prison or the madhouse.
I'm not afraid of being made into a martyr.
You won't be made a martyr. You will only be a number on an official record. I believe you. I want to help you.
Help? I cannot be helped. I am alone.
We are all alone in that way. All of us who reach above the clouds. Except in loving, perhaps. But you are lucky. You have Elizabeth.
I bear my burdens alone.
Poor Victor. You have so much to learn. Well,
It must be done.
soon?
Tonight.
When?
Now.
How?
Poison.
May I help you?
No.
You'll need my assistance.
I was alone when he first breathed. I'll be alone when...
His grave?
A hollow under the flagstones. I made it just in case anything should have to be hidden.
There you are.
Here I am.
And almost recovered. Look at the color in those cheeks again. Thanks to Elizabeth's nursing. You've a lot to thank Elizabeth for.
He has no need to thank me.
This is overwork, boy. Dangerous. You really ought to take a break. It's this climate of ours. Bracing, but overexciting. You have no time to relax here. You really ought to throw everything away and go with young Henry here to Italy.
Italy?
Italy.
Why Italy?
Why else does a poet go to Italy? To see the sights, ancient ruins, and olive-skinned beauties?
I had no idea.
I hardly had time to tell you. I could hardly wake you in mid-fever and say, oh, by the way, talking of temperature, I'm on my way to the south.
Master William. I just can't understand young people these days.
They're the same as the old ones in those days.
But take young Frankenstein here, and Elizabeth. Why look at each other that way? You've enough time for that when you've been married for 50 years. Confound it, you're not strangers. Did anyone ring?
Beg pardon, sir. I could have sworn I saw Master William run through here.
And you chased after him, eh?
We were playing, sir.
Playing?
I'm sorry. Shall I go now, sir?
Don't keep Master William hiding too long.
No, sir.
I'll go with you, if you'll excuse me.
Hell now.
Poor Justine.
Justine.
She must apologize now when she plays with her
She's
child.
employed as a nurse for him.
He's growing up. Soon he'll think of her as merely nurse.
Well,
You're still here, Frankenstein?
there's politeness for you.
Frankenstein has been called away on an urgent errand. Will you wait until the clock strikes again? Oh, my flask.
Why?
The fatal dose will need concealing.
A flask. Deadly innocence. This does frighten me.
Oh, if both of you intends to talk nonsense, I'll go to the one place where I can expect to hear some sense. The nursery.
I'll join you, Father. Frankenstein, I cannot bear to see pain, even in others. Make it swift.
It will be. It must be done.
It must. Not so fast, Father.
It will be. It must be done.
No. Leave this place. Go. Hurry, go to the mountains. Do I have to kill you? Go. Go. Go.
Brr. No fires in these rooms. Is the house mourning because I'm leaving? Here. I have a list of addresses to give you. If I avoid avalanches and coach wrecks, we should keep in touch. I leave in half an hour.
This is goodbye then.
Au revoir. You did promise to write.
Regularly.
The winter is coming on with a vengeance. A stray animal forced its way into the grounds last night. Father went out and inspected the snow this morning. He said it may have been a wolf.
A wolf?
The bitter weather brings them close to town this time of year. And here I am on my way to the south.
Of course, a wolf.
But the strange thing was the snow was brushed off the tree outside my window. Have you ever seen a wolf climb trees?
What was it then?
Don't look so pale. Not a ghost. A cat. Do take care of yourself. You do look haunted.
I am haunted. I hear things.
The experiment is over, isn't it? All over. Dead and buried.
I buried my books in the cellar.
Capital. We'll be proud of you yet.
Henry!
They're calling for me.
Clerval,
Yes?
it might have been
What?
a wolf. A
It
wolf.
might have been, but it wasn't.
What was it then?
I told you. A cat.
Confound it, Henry!
I'll see you in the summer.
It is over. I buried my books.
It is over.
Not here either. Where does the man hide? You really must keep a closer watch on him, my dear. One of these days he'll be slipping away forever.
Victor is free to do as he pleases.
Maybe so. But if I were you, I'd keep a closer watch on him, my dear. You don't want to be dirty before your bride. Other meadows are so attractive.
I would imagine the easiest way to lose any man would be to tie him by apron strings.
Maybe so. But if I were you, I'd keep a closer watch on him, my dear. You don't want to be deserted before your bride. You are to be a bride very soon.
No.
No?
The wedding has been postponed.
You don't mean that Frankenstein has deserted you already?
Postponed until Clerval returns from Italy.
Well, everything comes to him in waits, they say. I do believe the music has ended. I adore these music reviews of the Clerval house. They're the only reason for staying in this dreary town during the month of January. If the music has ended, we really must return. What's the matter?
Down there, I saw a shadow moving about the garden.
A window, you can see clear down to the road. Nothing. If you don't join Frankenstein this instant, I declare you don't deserve him.
Maybe going to dinner will be the good thing to do.
Maybe.
But I swear there was something there.
I swear it had to be a boy.
He is here.
Oh, well. Don't put yourself out on my account. Please, I shall go down to supper. So delighted to see you reunited. Oh,
An encore. Supper will be served immediately afterward.
so hospitable.
Elizabeth, I love you, Elizabeth. I really do.
I want so much to believe you.
And what is to prevent our plans from becoming fact?
In the spring.
In the spring? In the summer? The date's not important. What is important is the excuse you'll find for postponing it again and again and again.
You don't understand, do you? If you came near to understanding, it might be possible. But
But? What is that but?
when we were young, we seemed to laugh with one voice, think with one mind. Then it was inevitable that we should marry. Now,
We are the same people.
are we?
This is my face. Touch it. See?
I can't touch you. You're wrapped in armor.
You've read too many of Clermont's poems.
It's called pride, Vicar.
Pride?
It cuts you off from the world. From me.
I've gone down among the filth of the slums to relieve the wretched. Was that pride? I've lived among death and corruption. Was that pride? I defied the cries of scandal when I took in Justine and her child. Was that pride?
Pride.
The word has a different meaning for each of us.
You see, you don't understand me.
There is nothing but illusion parting us. What must I do to persuade you?
Repeat every night after your prayers. It is sometimes more blessed to receive than to give. When you believe that, our marriage may be possible.
Very well. What must I request? Is one of the penalties of a more than adequate income that I've so little to ask for.
You need not ask. Just accept.
What?
Help.
How?
I know what you were doing as I waited here for you.
Yes?
Checking the house from attic to cellar. Examining every room. Checking every latch and bolt.
Well,
Why?
a sudden fancy. I'm sleeping here tonight.
Yesterday, as we walked by the river, you kept glancing over your shoulder. Were we followed? Then as a shadow fell across the path, you started as though it were a snake. No answer?
There is nothing wrong.
Are you sure?
I said nothing.
You see, what use is a wife unless she can share your burdens?
I cannot pass my troubles on to you.
You see, a marriage can never last on those terms. Even after the ceremony, we would be mere acquaintances, not husband and wife.
If it must be, then it must be. What I know, I must know alone. What threatens, must threaten me alone. It may be that I live and die alone.
Victor, I want. Can't you see that I want?
Good God!
Take me with you.
No! Stay here. You'll be safe here. Whatever you do, don't move. I'll return as soon as I can. Away, woman!
No! It wasn't my can't trust servants.
It mustn't be true.
Smelly salt. Brandy.
Control yourself, please.
He was her child. She couldn't bear the proof of her sin. She killed him.
May heaven forgive you for... Monsieur Claypole, can you hear what is being said?
I heard.
Then say it's a lie.
I wish I could. William is dead. Justine is accused.
Justine, no! No!
A lifetime judging men has taught me that I know very little about the human heart. I put all my trust in evidence now. But it is black against her.
Girl must be brought to justice. The sight turned my stomach right over.
Come with me. You'll be more at ease with the rest of the company.
Oh, Bill, I am trembling.
I have a medicine downstairs to cure that.
Here, Justine. Please. Please, Justine. Now you must let me try and help you. What happened? Yes, I know it hurts you to think of it. I'm sorry. But you must let me try and help.
I can't.
Think. Think, unless I know I'm helpless.
I can't remember.
You must try before the police arrive.
The police? Prison? I didn't. Believe me. Please believe me.
I do, but I must prove it. What really happened?
I don't know. I don't know.
You must try. You put William to bed. When? The time?
After you kissed him goodnight,
Yes, yes, you must remember everything.
he said his prayers like I taught him. He stumbled once as though he'd forgotten, but he hadn't.
Yes, yes, everything. After
I
he said his prayers,
The church bells in the town began to ring, and he asked me to open the windows so that he could hear them.
you opened the window. What did you see?
The snow, smooth as a sheet. Then I kissed him goodnight, and I left. I left the door open.
Why did you do that?
You're staying the night, sir. He hoped you'd look in on him before you went to bed yourself. Your room is next to his.
The room next to mine. An open window. An open invitation.
I heard a noise, a scuffling, and a half sob. I didn't know what it might be, so I went back.
What did you find?
I couldn't see anything. It was as though a black thing by the window shut out all the light. Then it was gone. Through the window, or into thin air. I don't know. I don't expect anyone to believe that.
I do.
As soon as the moon came streaming back into the room again, I saw the bed. The boy looked asleep. But after I touched him, my hand... I don't know how long I stood. They found me like that.
I understand now.
Justine,
You've come to take me away?
there are some gentlemen here. We need to talk to you.
Will you believe me?
If you've done no wrong.
If you don't believe me, what will you do then?
Trust me, Justine. You'll come to no harm.
Is it cold in that place? Will you let me take my shawl?
It's safe, Justine. I give my solemn word.
I trust you, sir.
only tell the truth, my dear. There's nothing to fear.
William dead. And Justine arrested. No, not in this house. If it were true, could I stand here so calmly?
Do you believe her?
I know her.
I mean, if she were a stranger, would you believe her?
No.
Then I must save her myself,
Victor!
even though I've ruined myself doing it.
Listen to what you are saying.
She's worth the sacrifice.
Not that. That is not what I mean.
Pen and paper.
For one moment, you were the man I once knew.
I must write to Clerval.
The fires are burning in your eyes again.
With his evidence, I can stay at the trial before it begins.
Victor, listen to me. Please listen to me.
I'll make sure that justice is done.
William is dead. One has suffered. Another is suffering. Does their pain mean no more than your triumph?
Triumph?
You'll avenge William and deliver Justine. Oh, yes. I believe you when you say you can. And you'll be so proud. But I would almost have you fail. Know that there was pity and understanding in your heart.
Your face is so hard.
Our faces reflect our thoughts, don't they?
You can't guess what this gesture will cost me.
Look at yourself! Go into the mirror and look at yourself! Unless you are afraid to see Lucifer!
Elizabeth!
I'm sorry.
What do you want from me?
From you, nothing!
Am I so vicious?
Oh, my dear, who can say when virtue becomes a vice? Write your letters. The glory will be yours!
I can't turn back.
No, you must go on!
My dear Clerval,
I hope I've not kept you waiting, my boy.
I've been waiting for weeks. A few hours makes little difference.
I've been at the courthouse all day. The process of the law grinds on. The trial begins tomorrow.
But Clerval, surely you've heard from him by now.
Haven't you?
No, I can't understand it.
Then I'm more fortunate. I received a package this morning.
What did it say?
Nothing.
Nothing?
The scenery inspiring, the weather improving, the native robes, his companions bearable.
When's he returned?
Patience, my boy. Accidents happen.
I told him that Justine's life depended on it.
He met an English poet. They traveled to Genoa and Florence instead of Verona and Venice. Everything we sent miscarried.
But Justine,
The trial begins tomorrow.
it must be stopped.
My dear young man,
Delayed.
she was the only one found in the room with the boy. When he was found, the snow beneath the window was unmarked.
I know that. But I know more than you. Even without Clerval, I must go to the public prosecutor myself. This murderer didn't walk on the ground.
An interesting theory.
He has the appearance of a man, but is more than a man. He can bend iron bars as though they were made of clay. I thought that his only deficiency was that of intelligence, but I was wrong. He haunts me. But I no longer see him. Just a sprig of edelweiss on my windowsill, a dead bird in my path. A handprint on the wall. I can't blame him, but the intended victim that night was not William. It was myself.
Go on.
There is no more to say.
The public prosecutor will have more to say if you bring this forth as evidence. Where can this man be found?
In the mountains?
Whereabouts?
I don't know. In some cave or hollow.
How do you know this?
I was responsible for him.
Oh, then who else might bring forth evidence?
Clerval?
Besides Clerval, the creature must have friends.
No one.
Anyone who has seen him, then?
No one.
The answer is impossibly negative. The man doesn't exist who's only been seen by 2 people.
This, creature has only been seen by Clerval and myself.
Clerval is in another country.
I know.
And this is the story you intend to bring forth as evidence. An unknown creature that swoops in the night and vanishes without a trace. You'd go to any lengths to save Justine.
I mean to.
Don't!
I must.
You'll be laughed out of court.
But you don't believe me. You are convinced that
Oh,
Justine...
I thank God I'm not required to judge this case.
Suppose the trial goes against her. How long?
A few weeks, perhaps.
But a trip to Italy takes all of that time.
We must all have faith in our consciences and trust that justice will be served. Now give yourself a respite. You'll join us for dinner.
Her trial must be postponed.
The trial begins tomorrow.
The scene of the crime.
Clerval!
A last-minute rescue.
But how?
I posted in from Genoa the hour that I heard.
There was no letter.
My coach traveled as fast as anything I could have written. I even ran through the courthouse. You created quite a stir.
Then you heard the sentence?
Yes.
14 days to live. And they call that justice?
You may prefer that justice to heavens. Your letter was so terse, I had to fill in most of the details myself. Is Justine innocent?
You know
The alternative is just as disagreeable. It means that you are the murderer.
No! The murderer? You're right, Clerval. I let it go.
I warned you! You fool! You know what must happen now! Either Justine must be hanged, or you and I must tell the whole truth.
I tried. The result was laughter and sneers. Why else do you think I sent for you?
Couldn't you have captured the monster? What more evidence would you have needed?
Me hunt that? You're mistaken in the balance of power. I'm not the hunter, I'm the victim.
Of that animal?
Its cunning grows more, day by day. I can feel its presence like an evil spell. It will never leave as long as I am alive.
You are not its intended victim.
William's death was a mistake.
William was only the first. It plans on leaving you desolate, as you left it.
It hates me. It will have its revenge.
I said nothing of revenge. know. I put myself in the monster's position. It's what I would do. Once Justine is safe, the monster must be killed. This time I will make sure there is no backsliding. I don't plan on being sacrificed for our friendship. I have too much to live for.
As you say.
And I have one other condition. It may destroy our friendship, but I insist.
Well?
Abandon your research entirely.
No, no!
Do you intend to be forsworn already?
Give me a year, the next experiment, or the next.
There will never be another experiment!
While we are arguing, Justine needs us.
I shall go to Justine as soon as I have your promise that the books will be burned.
How can you be so hard?
I surprise myself.
Very well.
Swear?
I swear.
Where are the rest of the books?
I hid them. Under the stairs.
I had your promise once before. If I left you to temptation, I'd be guilty of your perjury. Leave me to destroy the books. No, it must be! Go to Justine. Tell her the worst ordeal is over.
Don't be long.
Frankenstein? Who's there?
Justine, why do you turn from me?
How can I look at anybody again?
You've done nothing.
The faces in the courtroom, all eyes, all staring.
Sensual creatures, smacking their lips at the prospect of another victim. The shame is theirs.
I don't blame them. Everything seemed so natural. The way it was brought out, bit by bit, until I was almost believing it myself. And the disgrace crept into me.
Justine, look at me.
Why?
Because we are friends.
You oughtn't to be here, miss. This place they keep for them who aren't fit to live.
I have to keep despair away.
You don't have to worry, miss. The jailer talked to me. She promised me I wouldn't be hurt much. She said it would all be over before I knew anything about it.
Surely not.
Oh, she meant it kindly. If she seemed a bit rough, it's because she's a rough person. You see, she spends all of her life here. She didn't want me to be frightened. These walls, they're covered with names, scratched here by men and women who were here before me, all waiting.
Don't think of them.
I'm one of them.
Oh, no, no.
I'm ready to go. My conscience is clear.
You mustn't think like this.
I was always taught not to be afraid of dying.
It's wicked. It's wasteful.
He was all I had in the world. He's gone. What is there left to keep me? I'm only sorry that folks should think wrong of me. But as the jailer said, come next year, nobody's likely to remember. Just tears, miss, that's wrong.
I have only 5 minutes to bring something like comfort.
And it's you that needs comforting, miss. Don't
Oh,
you
sorry, I
understand
can't let
it?
you in.
Confound your regulations. I'll take the responsibility. Justine.
Sir?
News. Good news. It's worth a smile.
We don't have the chance to smile much now.
Victor, be careful what you say.
Clerval is here. At last. We can prove. Do you hear?
I heard, sir.
We have enough evidence to demand a new trial.
No. No.
Why not?
Questions. Questions like ropes, twisting and tying until you're helpless.
This time, your defense will be unbreakable.
My heart isn't, sir.
I should have been here sooner, but...
You won't be kept in this place a moment longer than I can help. You've grown thin and pale. We'll take you down to the south, where the sun can paint roses in your cheeks once more. You'll live. You'll be able to forget this cruel winter. Clerval will stand up for
Clerval will not.
Clerval.
Clerval is dead.
Clerval.
I've just come from the mortuary. The body was identified by several persons. The doctor advised us the back was broken. It must have been instantaneous.
Papa Clerval.
My dear.
But he was alive when I left him.
His body was found in the old quarter of town. He must have been thrown from the high window of an abandoned building. The how and why will never be known. But it was an accident.
Oh my. Justine.
I was right, miss. That's all. There's only a little while left for me to wait.
William, Clerval, Justine. No, not Justine. If anything, then the body of the murderer will convince the judges. I'll hunt the thing. I'll neither rest nor sleep until they can throw the carcass at the feet of the judges. My life against his. Turn down the light.
Victor, why?
Turn down the light.
You're cold and wet. Hasn't the rain stopped?
The light can be seen from the road. Why aren't you in town with Papa Clerval?
This is my home.
Is he better yet? Doesn't he need you?
Tonight he needs to be alone. Tonight we all need to be alone. That is why I sit here, counting the drops on the window pane.
The rain stopped some time ago. The high wind whips the clouds along. The moon is full.
I went to the prison, but they wouldn't let me see Justine. She is alone. At least your protest had some effect. They frightened the authorities. Now Justine is guarded like a dangerous animal.
Till the morning.
Must she die? What's this?
Pistols.
Everyone in town is convinced that you are mad. Hunting a phantom.
I've scoured the mountains. There can't be a gully peak or crevice that I haven't searched. What's there? Do you believe me?
I believe that Justine is innocent, and that you would invade the underworld to help her.
Did you believe in the creature?
I have never seen it.
I wish I never had. With my own hands, I created it.
Victor, please!
I gave him life. I brought him into the world. Him, but misery and destruction. The blame is all mine.
I must forgive you.
Forgive?
You weren't to foresee.
I didn't ask for forgiveness.
You may yet.
I can't have anyone share my sins. Your forgiveness would involve you. Would you condone these crimes? No. Crime and criminal hang together. I must be strong enough to bear my sins alone. Yes, I will be strong. What was that?
A dead twig.
You must be brave tonight, Elizabeth. If I had known you would have been here, I would never have taken the risk.
What risk?
I've set a trap. A length of thread, a bell, and a spring lock. When the thread breaks, the bell will ring and the spring lock shall have made him my prisoner. Absurd to think a thing like that is designed to catch a creature like him. We shall meet face to face. I shall try to kill it. But even if I fail, my body will prove what I set out to prove. And in the morning, you must go to Papa Clerval. Tell him everything you know. It may save Justine.
If the creature is so cunning, is it likely to fall into your trap?
The bait is enticing enough. There have been 2 attempts on my life already. They miscarried because the creature claimed the wrong victim. William and Clerval died instead of me. Could it resist me now, alone and helpless?
Poor creature.
You feel compassion for it?
Spurned by its creator. Wild among the rocks. Wild as the weather. Suppose you were convinced that God had cast you out. No wonder it killed.
Aboard, Creed.
Still you wait.
Patience. The trap must work first. There is no room for error. When I leave this room, you must lock the door behind me. Don't open it until you hear my voice. Stay here. You'll be safe here. Don't worry about me. I'm as prepared as a man can be.
Victor, don't!
And leave Justine to die? You're right, my dear. I am a proud man. But I know that all my debts must be paid. Lock the door behind me.
Don't come closer! Don't come closer!
Here I am. You hunted me. Here I am.
Forgive me.
Victor, dear. Poor thing. It had to die so that you could learn.
I learned. Everything will be different
Victor!
next time.